The community is huge. I think a lot of people think that just like the front range of Denver between Fort Collins and Colorado Springs, there's 300,000 deaf and hard of hearing individuals, and that's just the Denver metro area. And I think it's huge nationwide that need our help, so we can help them and help them feel comfortable, because buying a home is the most stressful purchase you will ever have. Even selling a home too is like so stressful.
What's one small step they could take, this week to make it better?
Just simple signs. So you can even just do thank you and hi. And so just simple signs I think helps a lot. And then just also be fully present. If you see anybody who's struggling or is deaf and hard of hearing, even though you don't know it, just go up to them and just try to, because some of them can read lips, so just try to talk clearly or even write it down. I think just a small effort.
Welcome to the Icons of Real Estate podcast. Let's start with something incredible. You have an amazing story in starting at 12 years old when you helped your parents buy a home. You still have 25 years olds that don't even help their parents do nothing. And at 12, look at you. So looking back, what did that moment teach you about advocacy that most agents never learn?
I feel like it taught me to be more, to have more empathy towards stressful or any situation, but especially stressful situations. Because when I went in to help my parents with that, well, I wasn't going there to think that I was going to help them. I was just like riding in the car. And then when we got there, they had no interpreter there. So I saw that my parents were struggling understanding like what they were doing with the papers and everything. And so I jumped in and started interpreting for them. And I thought to myself, like, my parents felt like very isolated and not like included. And so I thought to myself, I'm never going to let anybody feel like that again.
Yeah, and people, they have their first connection with real estate usually a little bit later, right? If their parents is not a real estate mogul that is coaching you since you're 5 years old, usually real estate, it comes to you at a later stage, even a later career. But did that come to you like when you were 12 and you did this? Was that something of a thought process that this early experience made you then want to be a real estate agent, or was that something that came?
I always helped my parents with their finances too, because we always had an interpreter over the phone with any of their finances. So I always loved the finance and real estate side of things. So I'm a teen mom. And so I had to find a job right away. And I thought to myself, well, I'm just going to go right to real estate in the finance world, because that's what I've always known, because I've done it since I was little, helping my parents. And so I went straight into real estate, and now it's been 34 years and I've always loved it. Like, I wouldn't even know what to do without it.
Nice. Yeah. So you went straight into it. Awesome. And yeah, like we see the interpreters. Like if you go to a concert, if you're looking at Saturday Night Live, there's the concerts there, there's the interpreters there. Like when it comes to even entertainment, but people forget about basic services, right? Like even or basic needs, even going to the supermarket or any other activity. Like how was that growing up, that you always had to be there for your parents?
Well, especially like with the grocery store, a lot of like deaf and hard of hearing people, like they can't find anything, and then they'll like ask for help. And I feel like a lot of people feel like they it's outside of their box, so they don't ever like try to help. They'll try to find somebody else, but you could just do simple gestures, like take out your cell phone and type on there, just to show them what they want. Because I think just helping them and making them feel inclusive is a huge thing, especially for that community.
Yeah, and it's a simple thing. Sometimes people, they're even, I don't know, like somewhat embarrassed, like they don't want to deal with this. It's crazy.
Exactly. And it's like it's not and you don't have to be perfect by any means, but if you just give the effort and just try, I think that's huge on anything, not just the deaf and hard of hearing world.
Yeah, just try.
Yeah.
I heard that's your motto as well.
Yes, it is. That is my motto. I think, because I think that's all we need to do is just give a little, because just one simple act of kindness can go a long way for anybody.
Amen. And yeah, like I like that motto because it goes a little bit maybe outside the main avenue of how real estate mindset is, because we always have, the finance world and the real estate, which is, go and get it, do it, just do
Yeah.
it. And obviously just try is obviously a softer approach that can go a long way.
Yeah, and I think being raised in the deaf and hard of hearing community gave me compassion. So for me, I'm able to listen very well with the people that I'm with or the customers, because I listen to what their needs are and I listen to what they want in a home. And I feel like we try to rush everything. And then if we just try to slow down and just take the moment to listen to what the clients want in a house or how they want to sell their house, I think that's really important.
Yeah, it is. Obviously, again, we have this current talks about inclusion, but you're not just aware of it. You've built systems around it. We have the ASL Realty affinity groups, the national networks as well that you're involved. Like how important and relevant it is for a real estate agent these days to be not just aware, but to actually act upon it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it made me, like, with all the different communities, I think it shaped me as a realtor because it made me realize that a home isn't just about square footage, it's about belonging. And for the deaf community, that might mean like making sure communication with all of us is crystal clear during the process. And then even for the LGBTQ plus clients, it might mean like feeling safe and respected in their neighborhood. For like first time home buyers, it's about patience and education. So I think every client comes with a unique story. That's what makes real estate so rewarding to me.
And there's like a lot of agents that they think like this might be a nice to have, like, oh, it'll be nice if I know how to handle this, but they don't see this as a growth driver, right? So it's all like they don't see it as the main priority, or they won't go out of their way
Out of the way,
to,
yeah.
to change their way of being, right? But what do you think like is the biggest misconception, holding them back?
I think trying to rush, I feel like, especially during the craze that we had, like during 2020 and 2021, I felt like a lot of like agents had just come in and they just thought that it would be like quick money and not like taking care of the actual client and see what they want and what they need. So I feel like people forgot where customer service came from.
Yeah, exactly. The more also and more as a salesperson, you're also
Yeah.
servicing someone, right? It's not just selling.
Exactly. And we work for them. Like there are clients, like we work for them. So we need to listen to their needs and understand exactly what they're wanting.
Exactly. And ASL Realty. I wanna hear more about it because this is a new topic, and maybe we've had over 600 episodes. We should probably have talking about this before, but of course, better late than never. And like, can you tell us about, because we've heard many different projects, many different initiatives, but like I love this one. Can you tell us about the project and how did it started and how is it going right now?
So I like built ASL Realty for a national based real estate referral service. So when the clients contact me and they're not in Colorado or Florida, because I do Colorado and Florida, so I could do those states. When they contact me, I try to find somebody in their area who speaks ASL so they could communicate with them clearly so they understand the process and they feel more comfortable about them, because they were feeling isolated, left out, like an outcast. Because imagine just having somebody talk to you in a different language and you not understanding them and expecting to understand and sign all the papers. So for me, I just wanted to make sure that everybody had their own space for understanding and communication.
And is there like a certification that an agent needs to have to be part of that network? Like, how does it work in terms of if an agent right now is listening in Washington
Yeah,
and wants to join the network, like how would that work?
they would have to be a real estate agent. So you would have to be licensed. You can also, and if you're like if you're comfortable talking to the deaf and hard of hearing community and you don't know ASL, but you're like compassionate and you know to understand to like slow down, like listen to their needs. I always can step in and help like facilitate and interpret if you don't know it, because it's hard to find ASL agents around the country here. And so you can always have interpreters to help too.
If we just obviously you probably know the numbers, but how big is the network of ASL agents right now spread nationwide that is helping your cause?
Well, I'm trying to find more, but right now we have about probably 50 to 100 on our list that we reach out to. And I get contact all the time from clients around the U.S. for people. So if anybody knows an ASL realtor, send them over to me.
You heard it here. We need you. We want you.
Yeah, we need more.
And we'll make sure that it's easy as well to get a hold of you and for people to get in touch. And this is the beauty of podcasting, that we're connecting people. And I know that you've been on other podcasts, and I hope that you get more and more and more ASL agents as you would be able to help all these people. And this wouldn't be a limitation.
Yeah.
You will just be a fact.
Yeah, exactly. And we can help so many people because the community is huge. I think a lot of people think that the deaf and hard of hearing is smaller. Just like the Front Range of Denver, between Fort Collins and Colorado Springs, there's 300,000 deaf and hard of hearing individuals, and that's just the Denver metro area. And I mean, it's huge nationwide that need our help, so we can help them and help them feel comfortable, because buying a home is the most stressful purchase you will ever have. Even selling a home too is like so stressful. So if they can learn how, or if they can be with somebody who's fluent or knows their culture, that and make them feel comfortable, I think that's very important.
Nice. Like you also wrote a book, raised in silence. What's the main universal lesson, like you want people to take from reading the book?
I think I'm Amazon's #1 bestseller, and then I wanted to write something that would not only honor like my parents and the deaf world that raised me, but also invite everybody else to see communication in a new light. Because at the end of the day, whether you're deaf, blind, LGBTQ plus, or just simply human, we want all the same thing, and that's to feel included, to belong, and to be accepted as who we are. And so I feel like I wanted to write the book to raise awareness that don't isolate people and make people feel included.
And I mean, I bet obviously when writing, like there's some reflection, right? That's even when white people do journaling and all of that. Was there a moment while writing the book that actually, changed the perspective how you looked at even your childhood, or even how you as a leader right now?
Yeah, it did. It was amazing writing the book, because I think that a lot of us forget our childhood. And so a lot of like the stories that I had remembered, and I was calling like my sisters and brother. I'm like, oh my gosh, do you remember that time that we had an interpret for my mom, like at the hospital and things like that? So I think that it did. So it made me realize how isolating it can be in the deaf and hard of hearing world, and how we don't have a lot of accessibility for them. And so I think that was like my #1 goal, is to build accessibility for them, like the book isn't just for the deaf and hard of hearing community. It's for like leaders, educators. It's just for everybody who wants to belong and try to make people feel inclusive. So I think that the most powerful thing we could do with communication and connecting with other is just to slow down and listen. A lot of us always like put our phones in our face, and we're not looking at people in the eyes. So I think that I just wanted to teach people to be present.
Nice, awesome. And
Raised in Silence is
available on Amazon, right?
It's available on all platforms: Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Google, Apple, all those.
Awesome, you can't miss it. And one of, obviously, it's not even a trend. It's just our day to day now. Like AI is getting involved with a lot of things, right? It started by helping us write an email, then it's helping us, do a picture. Now it's helping us do a video. Like I'm literally not aware, right? And as most people in the audience, but I wouldn't imagine a better person to ask than you. Like, is AI made any movements towards the facilitation of ASL and dealing with
Not yet, but technology has come like a long way. Like when you were saying about the interpreters, like at the music, the Super Bowl, it never used to be like that at all. So now I think that
Mm.
we're like raising awareness to know that just the closed captioning, like if you're reading the closed captioning, then you're not seeing like the music or the football thing. So it's so important to have an interpreter there. And I think that a lot of like people didn't realize that, but they are now. But AI hasn't, because sign language is very visual and it's your body language, it's eye contact, and so it hasn't come like a long way during that. It probably helped kids do their essays, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, like I mean, right now it's fast speed. So I'm thinking like any day now,
Oh
because you
yeah,
obviously
I
have
think so too.
you, you have the meta glasses as well that you can that can detect movement. I'm not one of those geeks, you know.
Yeah,
I
the
can't do that
technology,
part.
me neither. But I
Yeah, but
do know that they have.
live it to the others.
Yeah, exactly. But now they have like apps to where if you're with a deaf or hard of hearing person, you can talk into an app, and then the app will actually translate it. And so now it actually
Okay.
translate
Yeah.
back and forth, which we never had back then. But now like we have that. So I think technology is coming around. So I think AI will probably have something soon.
Nice. Obviously, like most people don't know this, but there's obviously more than one sign language, right?
There
Um,
is, yeah.
if you encounter a situation that you obviously you know ASL, you know American Sign Language. If you encounter a situation that the other person, you know, didn't actually know ASL and knew other sign language.
So I just last week, in fact. So she was from Mexico, and so she was learning ASL. So she was, but she knows Spanish, English, the Spanish version of sign language, and she's learning ASL. And so I was able to pick up on it just because it was kind of similar. But yeah, that all countries have their own sign language. It's kind of like accents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, like I'm like most I actually only even found out about this recently as well, and it's most people don't know there is actually
Mm,
different sign
yeah,
languages as well. It's
exactly.
a real challenge. So like if an agent is listening today, you know, and obviously now after listening to you, you know, he wants to become more inclusive, and he doesn't have the time or the effort to go and be an expert in ASL and learn the whole language. What's one small step they could take, you know, this week to actually to make it better?
Just simple signs. So you could even just do thank you and hi. And so just simple signs, I think helps a lot. And then just also be fully present. If you see anybody who's struggling or is deaf and hard of hearing, even though you don't know it, just go up to them and just try to talk, because some of them can read lips. So just try to talk clearly or even write it down. I think just a small effort can go a long way.
Nice, just caring. It's not too
Yeah,
hard.
exactly. It's not that hard.
And you again, you've built systems before, you know, and brought up projects. If our audience, you know, is divided between, you know, real estate agents, but also like brokerage leaders and leaders in the real estate space, for any of them, like what is kind of like an internal policy or habit that they should audit or implement to really build, you know, an inclusive culture?
Clear and understanding. I say that make sure that they understand what they're doing. So I use a mortgage broker, and she doesn't know sign language, but she knows the deaf culture. And so she used to write these emails, and the emails came across so harsh. And like for
Mm,
us and the deaf and hard of hearing community, you have to be softened, and you have to make sure that they understand, because they don't know, and especially if you're not fluent in sign language and telling them what they're doing. And loan terms are hard to understand as it is in general. And so I finally had to tell her, I'm like, okay, you have to write your emails a little bit different, and you have to not be so direct. I'm like, you have to like explain clearly like what's happening and throw an emoji in there or something. So it looks like
yeah.
you're smiling or being nice.
Yeah, because it's interpretation, you know,
Yeah,
goes not
exactly.
just interpretation is part of communication, right? And if you come across with the wrong message, you might mean good, but then if you can't translate that into the other person, like you'll be misinterpreted, and then communication breaks.
Exactly. And especially because we can hear. And so we can hear inflection, and we can hear like either anger or nice or whatever in their tone of voices, and they can't. So what they go off of is like body language, emotions, words. And so I think that's very, very important to have clear communication and explain everything.
Awesome. Well, Maria, it was great having you on the show. What I was even imagining like then a podcast like how cool would it be for me to know ASL, how
Yeah.
to interview in ASL. Well, maybe not right now, maybe on another time, but even like I think a talk show like that would be very well received. Maybe next time. But thank you so much for coming to the Icons Real Estate podcast. For anyone that wants to get a hold of you, what is the best way to do that?
My website is Gallucci Homes with an S.com. And then the book has its own website, which is raisedinsilience.com.
Awesome. Easy. We'll put all the links in the description. Thank you so much for coming again. Thank you all for listening, and I'll see you guys next week.